Have you ever wondered why sometimes you suddenly agree to something, even when you didn't want to? The truth is, human behavior is surprisingly predictable, and psychologists have discovered subtle mental shortcuts that can quietly influence people's decisions. Today, you'll discover 7 powerful psychological tricks that can influence people, often without them even realizing it. One of the simplest psychological tricks is called mirroring. This means subtly copying someone's body language, tone, or speaking style. When someone leans forward, you lean forward. When they speak slowly, you slow down too. Why does this work? Because our brains are wired to trust people who feel similar to us. Psychologists call this the similarity attraction effect. Salespeople, negotiators, and even politicians use this technique all the time. When someone feels like you're just like them, their guard naturally drops, and suddenly they're much more likely to agree with you. Here's a trick that many skilled negotiators use. Ask a question, and then stay silent. Most people feel extremely uncomfortable with silence, so they rush to fill the gap. Sometimes they'll start revealing extra information. Other times they'll even change their original answer just to break the awkward pause. Lawyers and interrogators rely heavily on this tactic, because when people talk more than they planned to, they often reveal what they were trying to hide. This is one of the most famous psychological tricks ever discovered. It's called the foot in the door technique. The idea is simple. Start with a very small request, something easy to say yes to. Then later, ask for the bigger favor. For example, first, can you answer a quick question? Then later, would you mind helping with this small task? Once someone has already said yes once, their brain wants to stay consistent. So they're far more likely to agree again. That's why many marketing funnels start with tiny commitments, because small yeses often lead to big yeses. Here's something surprisingly powerful. People love hearing their own name. When you use someone's name during a conversation, their brain instantly pays more attention. It triggers a sense of familiarity and personal connection. That's why great communicators use names naturally in conversation. But there's a trick. Use it sparingly. Too much, and it feels fake. But used at the right moment, it creates instant psychological closeness. Why do people suddenly want something more when it becomes limited? Because our brains hate losing opportunities. This is known as the scarcity effect. When something feels rare or temporary, its value suddenly increases in our mind. That's why you see phrases like, only 3 left in stock. Offer ends tonight. Limited time only. Scarcity creates urgency, and urgency pushes people to act before they think too long. Here's something fascinating about human psychology. People often assume that confidence equals competence, even when it doesn't. Someone who speaks clearly, makes strong eye contact, and sounds certain, is automatically perceived as more trustworthy, even if they know less than someone quieter in the room. This is why confident speakers often become leaders in group discussions. Our brains instinctively follow certainty, even when that certainty is just an illusion. One of the most powerful psychological principles is reciprocity. When someone gives us something, we feel an internal pressure to give something back, even if we never asked for it. This is why restaurants sometimes give free samples, why charities send small gifts with donation letters, and why people feel obligated after receiving favors. Because psychologically, returning kindness feels like the right thing to do. And that feeling can strongly influence our decisions. If you enjoy learning how the human mind really works, subscribe for more psychology insights. And tell me in the comments, which of these psychological tricks surprised you the most?